First, there was this AAA. Then we graduated to the 18650 battery. And now we have the 26650 battery. Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce and Guns, and today we're talking about Thrunite's new TC20 flashlight. It's the first one they offer that uses the gargantuan 26650 battery. It's a monster. That's slightly larger than a C-cell battery if you remember those old C-cell batteries. That is a monster. And this light utilizes that power very well. Now, first of all, there are two parts to this video. The first part will be basically a general overview that will give you a high level of whether you should or should not be looking at this flashlight. The second part of this video will be basically a in-depth review. This is the first time I've really gone through and tested pretty much every parameter of this flashlight. And I have at least over 100 gigabytes of information, of video that I use to test this flashlight. I have no idea how much I have there. I've not calculated it yet, but it's got to be around 100 gigabytes or more. But first, the high level. The high level is, should you be looking at this flashlight? Is this a usable flashlight, or is it something just basically eye candy for a collector? Well, I would say this is a very good flashlight for the average user if you need a high intensity flashlight that lasts a good while and keeps that intensity for the entire length of time. But it also carries the extra bragging rights if someone else in your group or your party brings out an 18650 battery flashlight, like, oh yeah, that's nice, that's cute, that's nice. I got a 26650 here, so it gives out a little more light for a little bit longer time. It's also very waterproof. It's rated to 6 feet, I believe, of complete submersion, and I actually left it in a bucket of water for several hours without an issue. You can also take a drop of about 4.5 to 5 feet or so, and it is fine. Go ahead and turn it on. No problem whatsoever. It actually bounced off the concrete wall back here, and it is still golden. And Thrunite made it very easy to purchase because it all comes as a single kit. Basically, of course, you get some extra seals, you get the simple lanyard there, and of course you get the flashlight because that's what you're buying, and you get the 26650 battery, so you know you're going to get a good product and you're getting a good battery here. And there's no extra charger you need to buy or any kind of charging infrastructure you need to buy into because there's onboard charging with a micro USB. So the highlight conclusion is, if you need a flashlight that can put out over 1,000 lumens, and has enough power and prestige to razzle-dazzle both the night and your friends and family, then the Thrunite TC20 is for you. As long as you're willing to spend, $60 to $80 for that, then this is a good flashlight. This is a very good flashlight for the money. And now for the extensive review. I reached out to the subreddit Flashlight on Reddit and asked them, how do you want me to test this thing? And I've spent every day these 2 weeks testing this pretty much every evening after work. And these are my conclusions. First of all, how long does it take to charge a completely drained 26650 battery with the onboard charging circuitry? Well, I completely drained it and then I hooked it up to a pretty decent charger that puts out 2.4 amps. And it took just a shade under 3 hours to completely charge that battery. And once fully charged, how long does that battery last per the different modes? Well, I found some pretty interesting discrepancies between what happened in real life, what I witnessed in real life, versus what was claimed in the instruction manual. So first we'll start off with turbo. So you turn it on, and then you turn up to turbo mode, to double click. And of course the camera shuts everything down as far as the aperture goes, and it doesn't look quite as impressive, but that's a pretty impressive amount of light there. 3,800 lumens, it's quite a bit. And also, just for extra information, this is the cool white version. I always request a cool white version on these videos because it shows up better, it shows up more impressively on the camera. Most people do like the neutral white versions. It kind of is better for your eyes and helps recreate the colors a little more accurately. But for camera use, the cool white has more pop, has more pizzazz, I guess, for the camera. But back to the timings, I found that the turbo mode did not last nearly as long as they claimed. They claim a turbo mode of, I have it written down here, of 2 hours and 10 minutes. And what I found was completely out in the open with no fan and no cooling on it. It only lasted an hour and a half. And the same scenario came up with the high mode. High mode, just single click, and you of course cycle through there by holding down the one button. There's only one user interface button there, and the high of the 3 there, that is 1800 lumens, and 1800 lumens is, they claim, 2 hours and 25 minutes. In reality, I only got it to last an hour and 40 minutes. Now, I did all this testing in the bunker when it was very cold. So it was probably 35 or 40 degrees in the bunker when I did this testing, and that really kept it cool, you know, on the cool side of things. So when I added a fan to it, it really actually, I added my vent hood to it. So the same thing, air was rushing over it as it was on, and keeping it cooler. And it didn't last any longer, unfortunately. And I also tested both high and turbo underwater. So number one, it did last underwater for over an hour each time and was completely dry as a bone inside, which is amazing. But on the other hand, it didn't last even as long as it did out in the open. It only lasted, let's see, turbo was just over an hour and 9 minutes, and the high mode was an hour and 19 minutes. So I don't know why it was less time, because it was super chilled in that. It would have about 40 degrees in the bunker, which means the water would have been a huge heat sink for this. The only thing I can think of is that the water was so cold that it slowed down the chemical reaction in the battery, and you know, just like your cold cranking amps in your car, it actually gave it less battery life. And another hypothesis I have on that water issue is the fact that maybe water got inside the charging port, because there is a rubber cover over that, but it's more of a dust cover than it is a watertight door. So water could have gotten in there and possibly been an electrical drain on the charging, through the charging circuit. Now, no water got inside, but it could have gotten into the charging port itself. So that's a possibility, and that could have drained the battery a little further than it did out in the open. That's the only other thing I can think of besides just cooling it too much. And the timing for the other modes, I didn't really test them in real life because they would have lasted forever. But let's go ahead and take a look at them here. Of course, you turn it on and you hold the one button. It's only one user interface button here. You hold it down and it cycles through all three levels of normal mode. So you got low, medium, and high there. So low, medium, and high. So we'll cycle through, and there is medium. Medium is 320 lumens, and that will last, it's reported to last 10 hours. I didn't test that because I don't have that kind of time on my hands to test 10 hours worth of runtime. So it probably, if everything else falls into place, it's probably only going to last about 7 or 8 hours, maybe even 6 hours, somewhere between 6 and 7, maybe approaching 8 hours of runtime in medium mode. But who knows, it's probably not going to last a full 10 hours though. And now press down the UI button again, and it will go to, well, there we go, high, and then low. Low is 38 lumens, so that's still a good nightlight there. And that will last 46 hours. So you got basically almost 2 days worth of light right there at your fingertips. That is not bad. Again, that probably only will last 40 hours or 38 hours or something in real life, but it's a claimed 46 hours. And now turn off the flashlight and then hold down your UI button and you get Firefly mode. Firefly mode is 1/2 lumen, and it is reported to last 37 days. So you might only get a month out of that instead of a full 37 days in reality. But again, it's 37 days, and it's bright enough. It is well designed enough to be able to see your feet if you're walking through, you know, down a hallway or something like that. You can see your feet. Of course, this is really for like map reading or something like that. And again, it's a good night light, and it will last over a month. That is not bad. And the button has a memory. So you turn it on, so it's off right now. I turn it on and it goes to the last mode I had it on. So there's low. So we go ahead and let's go to medium there. Medium, then turn it off, turn it back on. It's back on medium. Let's go back to low here. There we go, low. Turn it off, turn it back on. It's low. We'll go up to high there. There's high. Turn it off, turn it back on. It is high. And just to check, I have no idea if this will hold the memory if you take out the battery. So battery's out. Battery, actually, let's make sure we drain the, we try to turn it on there with the battery out. So that should drain the whole circuitry there. Now, what were you on, high? We were on high, let's see if it stays on high. And there we go, we have high there. Let's go to medium. Okay, so there's medium. Make sure there's medium. There's high, low, medium. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and turn it off. We're going to unscrew the battery, take the battery out. There we go, turn it on. Okay, there's nothing there. So that makes sure the charging circuitry is drained. Turn it back on, it should be on medium. Boom, medium, nice. So it does have a very good memory that holds its memory through a battery swap. Not bad. And like many Thrunite flashlights, you turn it on, you go to turbo with 2 clicks, and then 2 more clicks and you get disco mode. And how far can it throw that light? Well, they report 350 yards. Now, I don't have a range that goes 350 yards. I do have a range that goes out to 200. So here I am at the range, shooting this flashlight out there, and it's 200 yards to that third target stand way out there in the distance. So can it do the full 350? I don't know, but it can at least do 200 with ease. And it also has a very cool power indicator light. Inside the UI button, the user interface button there, it has a little LED, and when it is golden, basically, when it's fully charged from 100% all the way down to 21%, it is blue. And then from 20% down to 11%, it turns red. And then that last 10%, the red light flashes, telling you that it needs to be recharged. It was also requested by Reddit to shine the flashlight at a white wall. Well, I don't have a stark white wall. I do have a garage door. So this is the back of my garage door there. And I'm about 10 feet away from the wall, and I'll cycle through all the modes, including turbo. And now let's take a closer look of the TC20 here and take a look at all its little features and details up close. Number one, what I really like about it is once you take it apart here, you have the anodization stops for the threads. So you get a really good link between the tail cap and the threads themselves, which is nice. Also, to make sure you don't lose contact ever, you have dual springs there. You have a brass and a normal, probably stainless steel spring in there to make sure that that battery, even if it's dropped, no matter how hard it's dropped, it will remain in contact with the circuitry involved. And of course, we take out the battery itself. I still can't get over how huge that battery is. And this whole tube comes out as well. And there's a, let me grab my pointer. There's a O-ring right there. It's replaceable, and an O-ring right here, which is also replaceable. Now, they did not anodize, they did not keep the anodization off that. Of course, the edge is what contacts the contact inside on the circuitry. Now, a lot of people online have expressed their dissatisfaction with the knurling on there, because it is a more aggressive knurling on that. That checker pattern there is more aggressive than Thrunite's more traditional flashlights here. The TN12, it's got some knurling on there. It's got some, you know, there's a little bit of texture there, and slightly, just ever so slightly more aggressive texture here. But this is quite an aggressive texture. Some people have complained about that. I like it. I want this even more aggressive, but I'm used to, you know, I use my hands in the field, in the farm, you know, I'm used to having a rough texture on things, and I want a rough texture on things to hold on to it. But if you got soft hands, this may be an issue for you. But this is aggressive enough to cause some wear and tear against fabric. So if you had this in your pocket without the holster, then you could possibly cause some wear and tear against your pocket. And I especially like the fact that it has just one button. Has one UI button on there and no tail cap. So that's one less hole that's been drilled into it. So we have this charging port here, and it just has this rubber cover over it that just snaps in. So that is not meant to be a watertight cover, I don't think. I'm assuming that the charging port is potted or something of that nature to keep water from going beyond here, but I don't see this as being a watertight enclosure. And let me show you this right here. I accidentally pulled this thing out, which is why they include an extra one right there. So they have an extra one for you just in case you lose this, because I accidentally, it can be just pulled right out. See right there, it just comes out pretty easily. That should not come out that easily. That's one of the gripes I have about the flashlight, is that the charging port cover, it's kind of flimsy. And I've even done that more than once by accident. Now I got to push that back in there. Here's my handy dandy pointer and pokey tool. I'm sure there are better tools for this than a 7.62x54R cartridge. I get it. There we go. See, I got it. You can't beat a 7.62. Thrunite claims a weight of 150 grams. So let's go ahead and weigh this flashlight out here. And that is true, 150 grams for the flashlight itself, but you got to have a battery on there as well. So that bumps it up to about 250 grams for the whole shebang. And if you order a Thrunite TC20 flashlight, what comes in the box? Well, let me show you here. Number one, of course, you get the flashlight itself. Of course, that's not a surprise there. You get a lanyard loop right there, of course, that just attaches to the tail cap. And pre-installed is a 26650 battery here, ready to go in your flashlight. And you also get a nylon pouch there, a holster, which is nice. It fits the flashlight perfectly. It has a belt loop on it, and of course can be clipped to your backpack or whatever you want to do with that. You have a little metal key ring there if you want to put some keys on your lanyard as well. I chose not to use that part. And it comes with 2 extra O-rings and an extra charging port cover there, so you're good to go there as well. So my in-depth conclusion is, I like this light. The TC20 is an excellent light. If you're looking to expand your collection of flashlights, because this is something that's really going to appeal to the collector, to the flashlight collector. And there are people, if you've made it this far and you're not a flashlight collector, believe me, there are people with huge collections of flashlights who love flashlights. You know, some people collect tennis shoes, like my wife. Some people like to collect firearms, like me. And some people like to collect flashlights, like this poor guy here. So if you want to dip your toes into the 26650 battery flashlight realm, then this is a great place to start because it all comes as one unit. You don't have to worry about finding a crazy charger. You don't have to worry about trying to find a flashlight battery that is not counterfeit or low output or basically just they lied to you about the specs. You're going to get a quality battery, a quality flashlight, and you don't have to buy anything else extra. It's just all there in the kit for you. Now, Thrunite has a 20% discount on all orders that are pre-orders because they just now came out with this. So I have a link in the description below the video. Now, those flashlight collectors I was mentioning, they have already drained their supplies of the TC20. They're already gone pretty much. I just got an email from Thrunite and they've already told me that, hey, we've already run out of our initial batch of these. So they're extending their pre-order 20% discount to February 25th of 2018. So if you want to go ahead and get one before then, and you get a 20% discount on its actual purchase price. Well guys, that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like and go up subscribe. A lot more is on the way. And if you have any comments, questions, or show ideas, leave that in the comment box below the video. And of course, you guys have a great day. See ya.